and welcome to Fishburner Live. My name is Charlotte Connell from Climate Salad. Oh, you'll have to, and we've got some punchers walking past. How rude. And I'm here with the winner of the People's Choice, Kimberly, founder of Carapac. Now, Kimberly, tell me a little bit more about your solution for those at home, and how did you come up with crustacean shells as an alternative to plastic?
I know it is quite a stretch when you look at prawns and think plastic, but basically it was a process of elimination and did a deep dive into the plastic problem and was kind of like, why haven't these other biodegradables been adopted yet? And the more research I did, I found that actually some of the biodegradable, degradable, compostable materials not as sustainable as you might think. So for example, like a lot of cornstarch-based materials, they have to grow an old genetic strain of corn in like South America and clear land to grow that old strain, which is inedible for humans. That gets shipped off to Germany to get converted into sustainable plastic pellets, which then gets distributed around the world, which for me is very counterintuitive.
Absolutely.
Better than plastic, but still, and like degradable plastic is literally just traditional plastic that breaks down into microplastics quicker, but because it's got the gradable on it, people are like, oh cool, it's green. So I wanted to go get into nature, get inspired, and looked at natural polymers that you can see and landed on crustacean shells. They have this beautiful molecule in them that I can use, and it makes this beautiful foam.
And it's funny because when you're thinking about like deep shelling a prawn, it almost feels and looks like plastic. So I can, it's like it's clear, it's got that sort of same feeling to it. So I mean, for someone, Kimberly, what is your background? I mean, do you have a chemical engineering background? Like, how did you get to that? I mean, you're obviously very passionate about finding that a plastic alternative, so you were very focused on the problem and the solution. So, but how did you, for someone else who's an aspiring founder, do you need a chemical engineering background or a deep tech?
I wish I had a chemical engineering background. I feel like I almost do in any of it now because I've been working in this space for so long. But no, I come from a more environmental science and economics background, so I've always wanted to save the world and make money, essentially. We started this project basically out of the University of Sydney's Inventing the Future program, where they shoved myself and then someone from chemistry and another individual from agriculture, and they were my co-founders when we came up to this idea together and started it. Those co-founders have gone on to do their PhDs, and I've gone on to carry on with the business, which is amazing. But basically the meeting of our minds did kind of spur this, and then it's just a lot of research and development and determination really on my part.
Wonderful. And you see your market as, you said first and foremost, like the packaged food, like lettuce, and it also extends the shelf life of those packaged lettuce. So are you talking to Woolworths, or do you want to have, who's your wide whale of customer that you want to go after?
Yeah, I mean, the retailers would be obviously amazing. Woolworths, Coles, Harris Farms, ideal. But my actual customers would be their suppliers, so their pack houses or their producers and whatnot. I'm looking at like salad bags, even like the shrink wrap over cucumbers, berry punnets, all of that. Anything to do with fresh produce packaging. And because it can extend the shelf life, and can you imagine if your strawberries lasted 2 weeks longer in your fridge?
Well, they don't with my kids, but I would love them to if they weren't so obsessed with them.
Yeah, exactly. We're continuing.
Now, another thing, also, Kimberly, and female founders are few and far between. I remember the stats at Fishburners a while ago was only 9% of the founders were female. So, how is it being a female founder? What path have you trodden that you feel is different from your male co-founders?
To be honest, it is a bit more difficult, but I have seen a lot of improvement in that space and a lot of encouragement from people around me and around the startup community, which is really encouraging to see. But yeah, as a female founder, I feel like you almost have to prove yourself more, and make sure that, and I'm just gonna approach that with just basically trusting my material, trusting my product, and showing that it actually does work, but I do think naturally you get a bit of healthy skepticism, well, not so healthy skepticism coming your way, but I think that is changing, and I've seen, as I said before, lots of encouragement, which is great.
What's your advice to someone who's thinking about creating a solution, a climate tech solution, such as yourself, who are just really passionate? Like, what's your advice for them to get started?
My advice is to just, if you're passionate about it, you've got to really know your problem, do a deep dive, and really know your solution. And the biggest, hardest step is saying, hell yes, I'm going to do this, and jumping into it. So taking that step, just be brave, be bold. It's not an easy journey, but it's so rewarding, and you learn so much on the way, and it takes you places you never thought you would be. But it is really, really exciting, and it feels so good to be working towards a greater purpose.
Absolutely. Yes. Creating a circular solution to plastic packaging, single-use plastic packaging waste, it's amazing. And I was thinking, like, I'm going past all these towns, like the judges were asking about demand, and like there's places that are demanding no more plastic bags, no more plastic this, no more single-use. APCO has some really great transition out of plastic standards coming in, so I feel like there is a lot of demand. You said that it's not an always easy path. What are some of the challenges followed by some of the wins you've had?
Well, I feel like COVID was a big challenge. We were making a lot of progress and whatnot, and then couldn't go to various states where we were working with potential business partners, and so that was a big blow to working so hard on these deals and whatnot, and then having to take a step back and reevaluate and whatnot. Flooding has also been a huge issue for supply in terms of which has also been unforeseen and uncontrollable. So the startup journey does feel like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But still here hustling, still fighting the good fight.
Still pitching on
still
pitch night.
Still pitching on pitch night.
So what about some of the wins you've had recently?
Yes. So one of the big wins of last year was winning the Taronga Zoo Hatch program, which was amazing, and it was such an incredible program, had amazing support, and have come out with such a great support system, and made some real progress with that funding, which has been fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I'm so very inspired, and I feel like you need to keep on doing what you're doing with such a great product. Did it take a long time to get past was the initial prototype, did it just fall apart? Like, how did you, was it hard to perfect that?
It's been a long journey. We made our first prototype out of diet pills. Funnily enough, a lot of diet pills use elements of a crustacean shell in them. Doesn't really do anything.
Makes sense, because it needs to compost in your tummy.
Doesn't really make that much sense. But so from that and like very flimsy breakable things, we've engineered it to be like, for example, thermophobable, so it can like work with existing packaging machines that basically take the beautiful plastic film and then fold and cut and shape it into the packaging. That's been a huge win. Made it, it's actually now really feasible, whereas before we were like looking at actually doing biodegradable mulch for agricultural systems, because we can add so much value into the soil. But with those initial tests, obviously with exposure to like soil microbes and stuff, our materials broke apart.
Oh, what was that? Sorry?
Our materials broke apart. Because it's in that soil environment where it's actually meant to break apart. But now on the food packaging side, we can add so much value, and it's a much better product fit.
Well, congratulations. Obviously, the voting that came through on Slido, you were by far and away the People's Choice winner. So thank you so much, Kimberly. I really, how can if we want to support you, how do we get in touch?
Please, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on the gram. It's Carapac_official, and I'll be posting all my announcements over there, and just support and adding us, and like having that connection and that wave of influence behind us helps us in every way, which way and form. And it's just great to see that people are as excited about my product as I am. So
absolutely, your excitement is infectious. And is that the ask that people support, or it's investment you're after right now?
I am after investment. I'm gearing up for a seed round in order to set up my MBF. I'm also looking for a manufacturing mentor to take me through the program. So I know that's very specific.
Manufacturing mentors?
Manufacturing mentors,
Yeah.
please hit me up.
I do know of another company that maybe, are like Great Wrap. They're doing,
they're doing amazing stuff.
So maybe, you have some shared learnings, possibly.
Definitely.
So, is that us? Oh, no, or we can keep on going?
Yeah.
So, everyone discover Carapac. Oh, can I borrow the mic? Everyone discover the Carapac web link in the description below, and say goodbye for this segment. Let's go to the sponsor message.
Thank you so much for watching.
It's okay to the mobile phone on the table because this control the whole live stream over there. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fishburner Live. Next to me is absolutely wonderful and charming Charlotte.
Thank you, man.
From Climate Salad this time. Because you wear so many hats.
I do wear a lot of hats, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, and everyone can see with the Climate Salad logo on the TV.
Yep.
Obviously tonight is our pitch night has been proudly sponsored by Climate Salad. Thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, Mick and the team.
That's right. Mick is our founder. He started the whole thing. Someone who knew tech, built a few tech companies,
That's right.
knew how to help entrepreneurs, and decided, you know what, I need to use those skills for good in the climate space.
I think this is an absolutely wonderful direction. But during the pitch night, you have not been some of the major work that you guys been doing.
Man.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I'll tell you more. So, I mean, climate tech is that really fantastic sector that,
That's right.
you know, in a lot of recent studies, it's the sector that most investors are most excited about.
Yep.
Investment is flowing 5 times faster into climate tech than any other sector.
Yep.
Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, said the next 1,000 unicorns are going to be in climate tech. So, you know, it's got everyone's ears up. They're like, oh my gosh, what is this sector? I want to be part of it. Now, it's interesting because it's an emerging sector. We've heard about clean tech for a while. We know about renewables, circular economy. So what is climate tech? And it's our job really to help define that.
Exactly.
So we see it as a climate solution that uses technology to scale. And it was really great tonight at the pitches because everyone thinks tech, climate tech, it's got to be a SaaS platform. It's, you know, it's obviously software.
Because that sounds the easiest scalable solution.
But in actual fact, a lot of our community is in that hardware space as well. So it is in that, you know, it can be renewables, it can be power grids, but it can also be like Kimberly's solution with a Carapac, so a plastic waste alternative, a circular economy solution alternative. So
that is a manufacturing and new plastic technology solution.
That's right. And also in that climate tech field, in that broad church that we look at climate tech, is mitigation at So removal of carbon from the atmosphere,
Yep.
avoidance of carbon-intensive products.
Yep.
But it's also adaptation because our environment is changing. I mean, it
That's
was
right.
almost snowing in Byron Bay recently. We have to adapt to our changing
Yep.
environment. So we've got a big area of that resilience and adaptation piece as well.
Yep.
So because it's an emerging sector and we're a fast-growing community, we've been only
Yep.
around for 12 months, but we have over 350 members.
Okay.
We're primarily
Members mean they are startups in climate-related technologies or climate-related startups. Is that right?
That's right.
Or
The
corporate as well.
majority of our members are climate tech founders,
Yep.
but within that 330, we also
Yep.
have around 60 to 70 investors representing
Okay. Yep.
VCs, family offices, and angels.
Yep.
We also have ecosystem supporters
That's
who
right.
are like helping the climate tech founders grow,
Yep.
and we also have really like high caliber mentors as
Okay,
well.
that's great.
So it's really important to help them connect, as well as the corporates.
Yep.
So we also did a recent deep dive into the climate tech industry to
Yeah.
just really create a baseline to understand where we're at.
Yep.
And there's some really amazing
That
stats.
baseline is published in.
At climatesalad.com, you can go there and have a look at our...
It's a report.
Yeah,
What's the
our
name
big
of the report?
It's the Australian-New Zealand Climate Tech Report.
Climate Tech Report. And yeah.
And
okay.
some of the highlights for me particularly is
Yep.
we know that tech is... So tech founders,
Yep.
what do they look like? They look like middle-aged men.
Really?
Well, there's a lot of
Well-
men in the climate tech space. In the tech space,
Yeah.
in our climate tech community, 39.7% of our climate tech companies have a female founder.
That's good.
It's world leading.
Yeah.
So within that, we know that investments.
Within Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah, the climate tech companies we
community,
surveyed.
yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
community. So also that community has raised in the last 12 months $1.4 billion
Capital.
in capital.
In capital.
In capital, and half of that has come from overseas. So it's really good for the Australian and New Zealand economies to be
How
supporting
many
this sector.
jobs have they created?
4,000 in the last 12 months and another 2,000 in the next 12 months. So it's not only great for our environment,
Indeed.
but it's really good for our economy.
Yep.
And it's great for representation because we're seeing that, female founders feel heard and spoken and they're gravitating towards our community.
I have aware of your report, but I haven't deep dive into it yet.
It's a very long
What-
report,
within-
don't worry, I can give you the highlights.
Tell me two more key facts that you want
Oh.
people to notice.
So 2 more key facts. I mean, I'm particularly proud of those ones about
Yep.
the economy and the jobs, but it was also interesting, and I won't be able to recall all the facts, the diversity of sectors
That's right.
that climate tech covers.
Yep.
So we have Fin and Data Tech is
Yep.
one of our largest, as is circular economy,
Yep.
and so is energy. And energy is the renewables, the SaaS platforms to help us connect with those
Yep.
more renewables, the community grids.
Yep.
So that's interesting. They're the 3 biggest sectors, but then we also have the adaptation, resilience,
Yep.
food and agri-tech is actually, sorry, I should say that was also huge because we're seeing an emergence of the alternative proteins.
That's right.
So Fable Foods with their beautiful, delicious alternative
No, I
beef
haven't
mushrooms.
heard about it. Okay,
there's-
mushroom-based meat.
Gomez and
Fable
Gomez.
food.
Gomez and Gomez? Guzman and Gomez?
Oh, okay.
They have their Fable
Fable
burrito.
food.
Oh,
Fable
amazing.
Food Protein Burger.
It tastes like pulled beef, but it's mushrooms. Amazing. Then also Vow Foods, V2 Foods. Incredible.
Can I throw a curveball at you?
Go for
I
it.
love mushroom. If you cook it well, mushroom tastes so good. Why don't you just eat mushroom? Why you need to fake a mushroom to become a meat and then eat the processed meat?
It's interesting. For me, I don't feel like it tastes like meat. I eat it
Yeah.
because it tastes like mushroom and I love it. But I know,
That's
I love it. But it's just that sort of, if you have a pulled beef burrito, you could have it instead, a Fable one, and it's delicious and great for the environment.
Have you tried the V2 burger?
V2 is how I have bolognese
Okay.
at home, and my
Really?
kids have no idea of the difference.
No, I try it. I couldn't tell that it is actually a legume. That means soybean, a variety of soybean. Every time I see Nick and Andrew from V2, I say, Guys, you're still selling to a Chinese tofu. I love tofu. Don't sell me alternative.
Yeah, give me that Well, I mean,
But it's true that it tastes good. But the whole
just
point
saying.
is, why process it?
I know it's an interesting one, but I think you touched on it there. Like, so V2 has the Impossible
Lagoon
Burger.
base, yeah.
And
Is
that's
it
it.
Impossible Burger?
Oh, it's called something like that.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure, but but V2 is a plant-based protein alternative.
But they have. Is it? I'm not very good at my fast food, but when you think about it, so in Australia, 26 million meals get served at McDonald's each week.
That's true.
So if you can come up with something that's processed and packaged in a way that's lighter and better for the environment, that's
true.
palatable to those 20. It's probably, I don't know how many, if 26 million meals, maybe it's only served at 13 million, but that's a lot of food that's going through these fast food places. So if you can make it super easy and digestible and palatable to the masses, it's a mass market solution that will work for our environment.
We talk about Fable food.
Fable.
Fable, is it from Queensland or from New Zealand?
Queensland.
Queensland, okay. But because there is another one from New Zealand, is it a mushroom-based protein thing?
You know what? It's interesting. The fastest food movement is the free from. So free from meat, plant-based, all of that.
That's right.
It's so fast. And people are eating it not just for health, not just for the environment, because it's just really hot right now too. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
protein,
like a trend.
Meat is a high demand product.
Yeah.
Food product, of course, there's the deep market.
So,
what other message you want to tell the people watching this, whoever is coming across this particular video, what else you want to tell them?
Look, I can't drill this home enough. So in this impact space, in this climate space, your solution needs to solve a customer problem first and foremost.
That's right.
It needs to have commercial viability.
That's right.
Who are your customers? Will they pay for it? Are they buying it?
That's right.
In that way, your solution, so do not be afraid of chasing profit, because the more profit you chase, the bigger
you can scale, you prove your point X.
And scale your positive impact.
That's
if
right.
your solution doesn't require any customer involvement, then there's some really great grants, like Groundswell Giving raises a lot of money and gives out grants for climate solutions. Maybe that's your avenue. But if you can have a product, I feel like capitalism got us into this climate crisis. Capitalism can also get us out of it.
Making money from consumer is not a crime.
No.
Through that, to make it scalable, to make money, to fund more good initiative, that is absolutely right. That's
Be
right.
unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
Go capitalism for your solutions.
Out of tonight, you just interview, I forgot her name.
Kimberly.
You just interviewed Kimberly from Carapac. Did you vote for Carapac?
As the host, I didn't vote because I was watching the results come in.
I was too busy over there, so I didn't vote either.
I would have, because I love that energy. I love alternatives. I just love that idea. And as she explained, which I had no idea, cornstarch is used as an alternative to plastic. But they have to grow an old corn stock that isn't edible. So that's and then they have to ship it across the world to be processed somewhere else. So it becomes not a great solution when you have a plastic alternative that's not from waste. So what I love about her is she's eliminating the waste problem. So there's all these prawn shells that go to landfill
or dump back into the sea. Because I thought when a shellfish prawn shed their shell, it will biodegradable in the ocean. It go back to the supply chain, to the food chain. Is that right?
That's right. I think that would happen naturally, with the processing that happens. So, I used to work in sustainable seafood, so I know Australians love seafood. Christmas time, we will consume over 1 billion prawns at Christmas. Over 1 billion. Of a population, that's not that much. So, we love our seafood, particularly prawns.
Indeed.
So, no, this is those processing manufacturing areas where they take they process the prawns, they take all the shells off.
They peel the prawn, they frozen it before shipped to a market. That's
exactly.
right. Exactly.
So that waste, as that breaks down, it releases carbon into the atmosphere. So taking that waste and making a useful product out of it, that's a wonderful circular solution. But also making a solution that's a plastic alternative.
Yeah.
So plastics use fossil fuels. So this is amazing. It's like, it's, double tick.
It's great. Yeah. So fingers crossed that they go through the manufacturing minimum viable production plan. Is that what you said?
Yes, and
That's right.
I think it's such a great product, and we can see it already. Like, Woolworths is calling themselves very sustainable. Coles does things like that. Harris Farm. So there's definitely demand for biodegradable.
And the beer cup that we are using is BioPack is a plant-based plastic cup. So I can imagine that go for easier option is selling something similar might potentially works for them as a
Absolutely.
as
And
a
you can
initial
see,
market.
Yeah, and the writing's on the wall already. I mean, APCO, the Australian Packaging Covenant organisation, they already have standards to phase out plastic packaging by 2030 and by 2025. So there will be more demand for it.
Okay, so you have absolute visibility to a lot of climate tech startups across the ANZ, across the pond, everywhere. Any area that you think is curiously missing? Anything that you think there must be, that problem somebody must be addressing that?
Man, if I knew that, I would create the
would create
solution and
something.
I would be the founder.
All right.
The thing is, I'm not clever enough to be a founder, so I'm helping the founders get connected, and that's what we do at Climate Salad. Like, I help them get connected with really good customers, really fantastic mentors, and the wonderful network of investors we have as well.
That's
You're right. I mean, there's so many solutions. I'm so inspired every time I hear them come up. I'm like, I hadn't thought about that.
But tonight, one of the pitch, I can't remember exactly the name now. For those of you who have better memory than me, maybe you go to Fishburners Founders Hub, watch the video again, you know which one. One of them was actually doing about business carbon footprint calculation or something like that.
Net Nada?
I can't remember now.
That's all right.
But there are so many carbon footprint calculation now for serving different business.
But
is that so? When I watched that one, I thought, are there already too many solution provider in that space?
I don't mind that, because there's more in there. It becomes more competitive, and they become a race to the top rather than a race to the bottom. So, and that's all spurred on by the massive demand there is for science-based targets initiatives.
That's right.
So that's to measure, manage, and reduce your scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions.
Right. That's why that pitch was saying that they can calculate the carbon footprint of a business in 60 seconds instead of months of something.
Yes. I know. I want to see that in action.
It was specific, saying not 90 seconds, but 60 seconds. Yeah.
I know, very specific in that. And I mean, there are, like, Sydney Uni, there's supercomputers that crunch that data that they can tap into and use that. And it's going to become increasingly important. The science-based targets initiatives globally, the demand and increase in adoption of that has grown 22% per year every year. To now, it represents something like 30% of the companies that are in the science-based target initiative. Their combined revenue represents 30% of global GDP. So it's not small. There's more and more companies coming on board. In Australia, we're very slow on it, but hopefully that'll change. But in the US and the UK, they have mandatory disclosures for climate-related risks. So companies have to disclose their climate-related risks. And part of that is understanding what their scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions are. So companies like Nenada and the other ones that calculate your emissions, they're going to do really well in these markets.
Trace upstairs. I think you're aware of Trace. Trace is upstairs.
I personally carbon offset with Trace.
All right, fantastic. And then we have Emmy. There's another one, Emmy, upstairs, right above here.
That's right, and they do the same.
On level 3. They do, they don't do offset. They do risk assessment. They do corporate portfolio, investment portfolio, risk assessment due to climate change impact or climate risk or something like that.
Yeah, but there's increasingly demand, and the thing is, the demand is coming from the mandatory rules and guidelines.
That's right.
As well as those that want to do good by their shareholders and their customers. So, I mean, I do love these aspirational founders who are saying, we all want to be more sustainable, and I'm like, no. There's a few of us who do, yes. There's a few of us who personally carbon offset, but there's a lot out there that just want to make money and make sure they don't break any rules. So they have to follow the rules.
That's
and following
true.
those
That's
rules,
true. Hopefully the rules gently nudge the whole industry moving forward. Okay, I think we are running out of
We probably
time
are.
soon, but last final questions. What are the upcoming activity of Climate Salad that people watching this potentially should tap into? What is the upcoming forum, upcoming annual award? Where are you going to do another tour of, you've done a big show last year here, and you've done a big show a few months ago in Melbourne. Where is the next big show?
the next big show is in Greensland, otherwise known as Queensland.
Queensland.
After the Greens won Brisbane. So in Brisbane, the Queensland Climate Tech Showcase, it has also been live streamed, so you can tune in on August 17. Head to
17.
Humanitix or our website for tickets.
Very good.
We also have our end of year showcase awards. We're going to have a little conference, so we'll be calling for abstracts and nominations very soon. And we're
Okay.
also planning a trip to the States, a road show, to take our climate tech companies on the road.
Will the end of the year event back to here again this year?
Most likely, man. Yeah.
Good to know. Yes. We love working with you guys at Climate Salad.
We love being here too. I
Yes.
mean, it's
we
so
have
supportive.
the right vibe, right? So the whole purpose of this is actually, I talked to Mick a little bit on this one. We are trying to bring our after pitch night, the networking conversation out to the people
Yeah.
who happens not to be here yet. So we want to give them the vibe so that they know, oh, next time when something happens, we better be down there at Vineyard at Sydney Startup Hub.
Yes,
That's
so
the idea.
we need to lock in all the details, but just pencil in December 1 in your diaries for Fishburners.
Okay, December 1st. 1st of December this year. All right. Find out how to contact Charlotte in the link in the description below. All the company that we talk about, I will put the link in the description below,
Amazing.
including Emmy, Trace, V2 Food, Fable. Is it Fable? Yeah.
Fable,
Fable.
yeah.
Fable, and then of course Carapac.
Amazing.
She was our audience favorite.
She was our audience
Oh,
favorite.
by the way, who is the judge's favorite?
Who is also a member of Climate Salad. Actually, a lot of them are. Axon Energy.
Is he still around?
I'll try to find them.
No, I can't see him now.
But that's a great solution, because like we see these commercial rooftops and
That's
they
right.
can access
Okay,
it.
now I remember. Commercial rooftop solar, a kind of a two-side investment business.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
the thing. I mean, you see the rapid adoption of solar because energy prices are so high. I mean, I know we got solar on our rooftop because I want to do the right thing, but I know many who are like, I just want to reduce my energy bill.
Anyone working on community battery yet?
There is.
There
in
is.
our community battery, community storage, and community grid,
Exactly.
so community sharing.
Yep.
So
All right.
decentralizing the grid so that we can share it that way.
Very good. If you guys want to know more about that, go to Climate Salad, follow the link in the description below, and I think that's a wrap for today.
Man, it is always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you being so brave after hosting and still spending time with us in front of the camera.
I love it. Any way I can get this message out, I will.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Thank you for all the people that are watching online. I believe we have people from England, Israel, the US.
Okay, my name's Alex. I'm the founder of Trim.
First-hand dramatic impact of climate change.
We will send a read-only copy.
Please jump on here, send us